So Veronica, she was in good spirits in the hotel as well earlier.
Yes,
So yeah,
yeah,
great performance as well. PFL Europe though, we've reached the final now. You know, what are the surprises? Who are the people that have surprised you in this tournament so far?
I've been surprised by a lot of them in different ways. I think, Dylan Tuke, even though he's not in the final, really surprised me in the first round against Connor Hughes. He surprised Connor as well with his composure, with his game planning. I expect big things from Dylan Tuke. He obviously wants to go into the championships next year again, and he's got as good a chance of anybody in that bracket. Certain things have surprised me. Like I feel like we would have seen more out of Malambo, but I feel like he's got a lot to show in this fight this week. So I think surprises on his side. Kershed's pace and his striking volume, as well as the diversity in his striking, really impressed me. And Jakub Nedo, that guy came out of nowhere. He's just been starching people. And I think, because Sim had a slightly slower performance in Paris, I feel like pressure's on him to really show up. He can't let Nedo get off to a fast start because it might be a short night for him. It's been an amazing year, really, just watching the whole thing develop in front of me. And now we're here with the 4 belts on the table behind us and the 8 fighters in the championships. I'm just excited to be cage side, ready for these fights.
Especially with having 2 Irish fighters now in front of this Irish sold-out crowd. If you've been to the 3 Arena before, it's insane. Like the energy that the crowd can bring. Do you think that this will sort of bring the best performances out, especially the people that you said, you expected maybe more flash from or more dynamic performances from?
Yeah. I think the challenge really, for the Irish fighters particularly, will be Dylan Tuke trying to maintain control of himself, because he's very fiery. And you look at his career before he joined the PFL, he was a lot more chaotic than he is now. Since he's moved over to Scotland, trained with James Doolan, you can see how they've elevated his fighting IQ. And I think that's going to be difficult to do in a very busy, loud arena that's going to be really supporting him. And then, of course, we've got 2 Nate Kellys on the card. Young Nate Kelly at the first fight of the night in an amateur bout is going to be really interesting to see how he deals with the occasion, deals with the pressure. A lot of eyes on him, a lot of eyes on Nate Kelly. And then the main event, Nate Kelly, he's done his work outside of Ireland for long enough. I think it's time for him to have a homecoming and to be really celebrated.
Exactly. Yeah, that might be even bigger or more of an opportunity for him than the PFL Global competing on there, I would say. As for the amateurs, like Nate Kelly, Little Nate, is that what's PFL's goal with that, with putting on amateurs? Like they also do that with Global, with Ali. Yeah.
I think there are certain fighters that you can identify as amateurs that are going to be ready to step into the pro ranks pretty soon, or that are just, they've got enough interest and draw around them that they deserve to be on a bigger stage. Nate Kelly is that person. He was a superstar many years ago when he was a little kid, multiple-time kickboxing champion. He's got, medals in every single sport that he's entered. A very talented individual with a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure on his shoulders. To have this run out as an amateur, same as Biagio's doing over on the global shows, to have this run out on a big card in a main stage, but still be amateur. It gives him the opportunity to kind of feel the big stage, see what it's like before he turns pro. Takes a bit of the pressure off, I think.
Like mental training, in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
What does the acquisition of Bellator mean for PFL Europe specifically?
Well, Europe's been one of the major areas for Bellator. It's probably the best market for Bellator, to be honest. So a lot of the fighters on the Bellator roster are from Europe. There are a lot of fighters that are potentially not ready to be fighting for Bellator titles that could maybe move over into our regular season in Europe. I'm certainly looking through the roster and picking out some names that I would like to join the PFL Europe League. But we'll see how that plays out. The focus right now between PFL and Bellator is to match the champions against champions. But there are a lot of guys on that roster that will be having opportunities with the PFL as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Looking forward to probably rest after all these travels you've been doing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'll be getting some good sleep next week.
New York.
Yeah, we did New York, Washington, Austin, and then home for a day, and then here. Yeah, but it's all good stuff. The adrenaline keeps me going, and the performances of these fighters keeps me going. I'm just the excitement of being here. I could stay up all week. I'd be fine.
Yeah, no, I was saying the same thing. I was like, the relationships we build with these fighters now across the seas. That's the nice thing about the tournament format. You build these relationships with everyone. So I was thinking about it. Like, I'm always excited to see to do the media thing and to see like that thing. But now I was looking forward to it as a fan again, you know?
Yeah.
Like these finals I was looking forward to as a fan.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I've noticed is, I mean, you know, the fans and the media are engaged with the fighters because they've been following them. But also, interestingly, the fighters are engaging differently with one another because they've been on the same journey. Yeah. Like we did the face-offs yesterday, and everybody in the championship fights are all friendly with one another. You know, they're shaking hands. Of course, there's a lot on the line, so they'll be looking to take one another out on Friday night. But you know, they have a respect because they've both been on the same journey, and I think that's an interesting dynamic with this league format.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Hey, thank you very much.
No worries.
Good luck.
Good talk.
Yes.